Now, you're listening to Midweek Voices, and for this part of the programme, we're going to talk about an event that's happening on Sunday. It's the Wexford Book and Collectibles Fair, and it's in the Talbot Hotel, and we want to find out more about it. And I'm joined by Kieran OBrien and by Wally O'Neill. Kieran, you've had this event before, and you're all guns blazing on Sunday again.
That's right, yeah. It's the 51st year of the fair now this year. In the Talbot Hotel, as we have it every year. It's the last day of the Opera Festival, Sunday the 6th. We're all organised now. We're full house. Quite a lot of dealers coming down the country to it. In fact, we were over-prescribed, so a few dealers couldn't get in. We have a good mix of stuff this year. Everything from second-hand books, out-of-print books, new books, local publications, rare books, antiquarian books, comics, postcards, coins, banknotes, collectibles and antiques as well. So there's a good mix in the hall on the day. We have 21 stalls. Some new Wexford dealers are starting off into the business, and they'll be there as well. So everything is well organised now at the moment, yeah.
The antiquarian book business is growing.
It is, in a sense, yes, but we've been trying to expand it. We just don't want it to be antiquarian books or expensive books, because we try to keep something that everybody could afford, a book to themselves. The antiquarian book trade is as strong as it ever was. It has changed in the sense that the internet has changed it a lot, but also a lot of auctioneer houses are now actually doing particular auctions just of books. So you'd have, say, Mealy's, who would be famous for that, but also Purcell's have started now again. And in the UK and in America and across Europe, it's very strong as well. But there are still collectors, and there are also people who are maybe studying older books for information, say they're writing history, or they're doing historic fiction books, or they're just studying in colleges or whatever, and they're doing a thesis and they need particular information. And the only places you can get a lot of that is in particularly old books that were published once and were never published again. So in that sense, it's as strong as it probably ever was. The difficulty is that hard to get the people to actually realise that an antiquarian book, it doesn't necessarily mean a very expensive book. So, we can sell books for €20 that are 200 years old, and you might get a book that was only published 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and it might cost you €100, depending on what it is, So we invite everybody to come in, have a look, have a browse, and if they can find something that suits them, then all the better.
And Wally O'Neill, now, a big demand for the books. Everybody wants a book. What do people go for in a general sense?
Hi Dan, welcome back to Red Books. Well, we'd have people looking for absolutely every type of book. Last year was the 50th anniversary of the Wexford Book Fair, and it was also one of the biggest crowds we've ever seen there. And one of the most heartening things was the amount of families that turned up, the amount of younger people. We saw a huge influx of teenagers and people in their 20s. And there was always that kind of idea that maybe book fairs were stuffy events full of old people in suits, which was never the case anyway. We always had people of all age groups, but we're certainly seeing a much younger crowd coming in now as well, which shows that there's going to be a future for these events.
Do you think that people are probably doing more research rather than reading just for leisure?
I think there's a bit of both. I also think reading for mindfulness and mental health has become a huge thing. I also think we're seeing a movement against Amazon and some of the big online sellers. A lot of people would come into the shop here and tell me they wouldn't be caught dead going onto it unless it was absolutely necessary. We're certainly seeing a decline in the use of the Kindle and ebook devices. Most of the people using those now are using them as their primary source of reading are over 35. It's not considered cool among younger people, I think. They'll use them as a utility device, but they want the feel of a real book in their hands. They also want unusual books, so they'll come to places like the Wexford Book Fair because they'll find older histories, books that are out of print and have been out of print for years, and they're wanting that kind of unusual novelty to read.
So there's a good turnover of books then, is there? Do people come to you every week with new books? when I say new, new old books,
Yeah.
new to you.
No, and we will go hunting, so we'll be all around the country buying collections. We deal with other independent bookstores who are doing the same thing. There has been a decline in the independent book scene over the last 20 years, but there's some strong ones out there now, and there's a good network. We all work together and try to help each other out. Yeah, whatever people are looking for, we will go to look for it. Certainly in the bookshop, we will have every type of book. Every day someone will come in looking for a book that we don't have, and that we may have had before, or that we might have in storage. We have about 250,000 books in stock at the moment, and even at that, we don't have every book that people are looking for. So there's a huge demand.
And also in recent times there now, the Red Books have actually helped people publish their books. So that's bringing new people into the market, people who might want to write and looking for an opportunity to publish. And you're able to help them on their own turf.
Yeah, we set up a printing press, Red Books Press, in 2020 at the height of COVID. And it still hasn't reached its full potential because we're still recovering from COVID. But we've brought out about 20 independent titles. We've also have 2 anthologies running here. We have the Wexford Bohemian. The 4th issue of that is about to be released. We're hoping before the end of the Opera Festival, if not just afterwards. We also have Wexford Women Writing Undercover, which is also going to bring out its 4th edition very soon. And next year we're looking at bringing out our own in-house historical anthology, where we're going to bring some seasoned historians and younger historians together, because there's such a huge demand for history in this county. It's a county where anyone who knows books in Ireland know that Wexford histories, there's more of them produced per capita than any other county, and there's more of a demand at any auction house for Wexford histories. And your books are in demand at those auction houses all the time. But in recent weeks we've seen Nicky Rossiter bring out 2 books which sold out very quickly. We've seen Des Keeley bring out a book which is selling very well. Monica Crofton and the Selsker book came out recently and sold out on the night of launch. So there's a huge demand for local writing, and there's huge talent in this county. It's incredible, really.
And it'll be all on show in the Talbot on Sunday. Now, Kieran OBrien, I see here as well, Emphera. What's Emphera?
Ephemera, we call it. It's basically anything that was published for a particular date or an event. It could be like a programme from a GA match, or it could be a document that was done about a particular event that was going to come up into the future, say the opening of a school or the opening of a church. Or
an anniversary, that sort of thing.
That sort of thing. A lot of it goes back quite into the past. Sometimes they're the only source of information about a particular event you can actually get, or if you want to be absolutely sure when did such and such a thing actually happen, you might actually find a leaflet or a photograph or a postcard or whatever of that particular thing. Some of the book dealers will actually specialise in that, and some of the collectors will look for it as well. So we usually have a bit of that at the fair as well, yeah.
Now also I see here you've got banknotes. We won't ask you how many you have. And you've got coins. The old banknotes, are they popular as a collector's item?
They are actually. Strangely enough, in the last 10 years or so, they've probably become more popular than they ever were. A lot of young people are collecting the old Irish banknotes, particularly what we call the Lady Lavery banknotes, if you remember them. The old pound notes and the old £10, and they were quite big banknotes if you remember them.
And they were worth a lot of money that time.
They surely were. You only got 1 or 2 for a week's wages, but they're very collectible. And you'll get people putting the whole set together from the 10 shillings up to the £100. But
they're very unique, aren't they? They tell you a lot about the foundation of the state and our own notes.
Yes, indeed. And I mean, Irish coins in particular from 1928, the first Irish coins were actually printed and minted. And they were considered at the time by the coin collectors and the numismatists across the world to be probably the most beautiful coins ever made. They were based on early Greek silver coins. There was a huge competition to set them up for international competition. A fellow called Percy Metcalfe actually won it. He was the artist. Yeats was actually on the committee. They spent about 5 years selecting the ones and then they went with them. Coin collectors and banknote collectors are very strong, probably stronger than people realise, actually. And there'll be 3 of us actually at the fair will be selling coins and banknotes.
And down through the years as well, there was sets of coins that were sort of reprinted for special occasions in a set.
Yep.
So I presume they're in big demand as well.
They are indeed, yeah, and people will often come looking for the set of coins from the day that they were, the year they were born, or the year their father was born or mother was born, or the year of marriage or something like that. The central bank now publish a gold and a silver coin every year, actually, special proof editions in boxes. And you might have noticed there last week or recently that they issued a silver coin of Luke Kelly. Luke Kelly's face was on it. And that was sold out in 30 minutes online. It's gone now. It can't be got now. No, that'll become that's immediately a collector's coin.
Luke Kelly.
Luke Kelly's coin, yeah.
I think once upon a time too, in the wedding ceremony, did you not have to have a little piece of, they used to call it silver or something, half crown, I suppose.
Yeah. I had a woman contacted me a few years ago to say that her daughter was getting married and she was doing some particular task involved in that as a matron in honour or something. But she said that her job was that she had to get 2 silver sixpences, and that their tradition was that they would put a silver sixpence into the bride's shoes in the morning of the wedding, and she couldn't find the silver sixpence anywhere. And somebody said to her, I tried this, man, and she phoned me in a panic and said, look, would you have such a thing? And I said, I do have them. And she said, she needed them that day, So I said, look, I'll meet up with you, and handed them over to her. And she said, well, she expected them to be very expensive, but they were actually €2 each or something, They're not that valuable. But again, that was just something to do with a coin. I had never heard of that particular tradition now, but that was County Wexford now. She was from North County Wexford, actually.
Well, I would imagine the sixpence in the shoe it would probably be there until morning anyway. Wally O'Neill, then, books is what you're all about, but you also have some antiques and, of course, postcards. People look for postcards at these events.
We do, Dan, and we've one of the best postcard dealers in the country at these events, the elder statesman at the Wexford Book Fair, Anton O'Brien. So, and of course, Anton will value postcards as well. So if anybody, and the same goes for coins or books, they can be valued for free on the day. So there's that service available as well.
So it works 2 ways. If you want to come along and buy a book or inquire about a book, that service will be there, and you have all those collectors in there as well, so they should be able to help you. Don't leave without a good book.
Absolutely, Dan. And it's great to see all these events back, to see the Opera Festival back. We've had a fringe event at Red Books over the last 2 weeks. We've had 18 events, and the Wexford Book Fair will be the final event. The room we're in now, there's a craft group running a craft fair in here for the duration of the festival. We have a photography exhibition, we've had music, we've had readings, we've history talks, and it's great after 2 years of lockdown to be able to do all this stuff again.
That's the Wexford Book and Collectibles Fair in the Talbot Hotel on Sunday from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. and everything to do with books and banknotes and coins and antiques and postcards. That's the place to be. Kieran OBrien and Wally O'Neill, thanks for talking to me, and good luck with your event on Sunday.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.